and I am in 3rd grade. And my question is, what is the funniest thing that's happened on the space station?
That's a great question, and it's a hard one to answer because there are lots of funny things that happen every day up here. We are so lucky that we get to fly with such amazing people. Myself, I get to fly with my Crew 4 crewmates up here, as well as our Expedition 67 colleagues in the Russian segment. And we just have a great time together, hanging out and enjoying laughing together. But one thing that was particularly funny was right when we arrived. It was our 2nd week on board the space station. The toilet broke, and so we had to go in and fix the toilet and learn how to be space plumbers right out of the gate. So that was pretty funny, and also eventually successful, which is really important.
Hello, I am James. I am in 4th grade. My question is, which one would you prefer, landing or taking off?
Yeah, so James, I'll have to get back to you on that. So I have not landed yet. So this is my first space flight, so I haven't experienced landing yet. We'll be heading home in about 6 weeks or so I should be able to tell you that which one I enjoy more. But I'll tell you, it definitely, launch was just amazing. This kind of culmination of all of the training that we've done and all of the work that we've put in, getting to experience that, and was also the beginning, the commencement of this new adventure, this exciting mission, which was pretty amazing. And I imagine that landing will be very similar, kind of a culmination of this awesome mission, the fruitful work that we've done up here, but also kind of the commencement of a new chapter back at home on Earth.
My name is Landon, and I am in the 4th grade. My question is, does it ever get windy in space?
Yeah, so it doesn't get windy in the way that you are thinking about wind, probably, because there aren't enough air molecules up here to create wind in space. However, the type of wind that we do experience is solar wind. So that is basically excited electrons that shoot out from the sun. And the interaction of that solar wind with the magnetic, the Earth's magnetic field creates what we call the aurora borealis, or the northern or southern lights. And up here, even just recently this week, we were able to see some absolutely gorgeous aurora. You see all of these kind of greens and magenta colors, and they just dance around you, kind of move around the atmosphere of the Earth. So being able to watch that from our windows is just amazing.
My name is Jackson, and I am in 4th grade. What do fireworks on Earth look like from space?
So we were up here for the 4th of July, and we were hoping that we might be able to get to see some fireworks. But the problem is the fireworks have to be really, really big in order for us to be able to catch a glimpse of them from the International Space Station. So we didn't end up seeing any on the 4th of July. But what we do get is almost every day, or at least once a week, we get fireworks shows of our own. As we're passing over Earth, if it is a night pass, so if it's dark outside and that particular area over the Earth is experiencing a thunderstorm, we can see the lightning high up in the clouds coming down onto the surface. And so as we pass over, each of these kind of lightning storms produces what kind of looks like a fireworks show for us. So it is nature's fireworks are pretty amazing.
My name is Gabri, and I am in 3rd grade. My question is, how does studying science in space help us on Earth?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we do lots of science on board the International Space Station, and all of what we do up here is has applications to help us people back on Earth. One example that comes to mind is a study that we worked on called immunosenescence, and it was looking at the effect of long-duration spaceflight on the immune system. We on Earth can experience aging of the immune system over time, and particularly with certain diseases. And so by being able to study those cells, those immune cells and their function and health in the microgravity environment, we're able to learn more about how those cells function and how what pathways we might be able to find to treat that type of condition on Earth. So using the International Space Station as a laboratory where we can take that gravity as a variable out of the equation and really start materials, different life forms even in a different light, allows us to understand them in a new way that has important applications on the ground.
Hi, my name is Rylan. I am in 4th grade. My question is, what is your favorite and least favorite space food?
So I would probably say that one of my favorite space foods I actually have here with me. So one of them is strawberries. So they come in a packet like this. You can see they're labeled strawberries, and they are all dry. And so we can stick the top of the container here into our water dispenser and dispense water in here, and that will rehydrate these strawberries, and they will be a very delicious snack for me a little bit later today. In terms of my least favorite food, it is not super dissimilar from my least favorite food on the ground. Is most of the vegetables that we have up here. I think them being up here and being dehydrated just makes them a little bit less appetizing than having a nice, fresh, crispy vegetables. So I look forward to a nice salad when I get back.
My name is Seal. I am in 5th grade. My question is, how do you grow and water plants aboard the space station?
Yeah, so that is a big question that we've actually been working on answering here on the International Space Station for a while now. So there are different ways to grow and water plants, but one of the ways that we're looking into right now, actually with an experiment that's right here called X-Roots, is we're looking at how to grow plants using hydroponics and aeroponics, so using water-based and aerosol-based means of having plant root growth. And this is especially important because that if we are able to crack this technology, that would allow us to grow plants without soil. And so that will have huge implications as we start thinking about going back to the moon and onto Mars, where we can't have too much weight and don't have a ton of space, as well as soil can be very dirty and can be hard to contain. And so that is an important technology that we're looking into for the future, as well as for again another application back on Earth, ways that we can grow crops in areas that maybe don't have fertile soil or means of accessing soil in a way that enables crop growth in that way.
My name is Atlas, and I am in 3rd grade. My question is, what does it look like when you look out the window at the space station?
Yeah, that is one of my favorite activities to do, is to look out the window of our space station. We have a gorgeous windows called the cupola, and there are 7 different panes that we are able to look out and see the Earth from. And just watching the Earth go by, especially for me, I am a geologist, and so to be able to see places that I have done field work and places that I have been to on the ground and done work, to be able to see those from the orbital perspective that we have here on the ISS is just absolutely amazing. Earth is gorgeous.
Hello, my name is Sydney. I am in 4th grade. My question is, what foods do you miss having?
We are certainly lucky to have things like strawberries and other delicious items on board, but we definitely miss some of our home-cooked meals and some of our favorite foods from home. So certainly, all of the things that I'm sure are you all's favorite, pizza, burgers, burritos, things like that. We definitely are looking forward to when we get back.
Darnaby is honored and amazed by this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We are so grateful to NASA and the team on board the International Space Station for this wonderful experience. We know that this will have such a positive impact on our students, and we're excited to see where it leads them. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much. It was great talking with you today.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications. Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Station is ready for the event.
Houston ACR, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Houston ACR. How do you hear me?
I have you loud and clear. How about me?
I have you loud and clear. Please stand by for opening remarks.
Hey everyone, I'm Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. I want to welcome the students, educators, and leaders from NASA here today to this incredible experience. As governor and as a dad, I love to see how we're taking education to the next level, and this is just about the coolest thing I've ever seen offered to our kids. I'm so proud Kentucky is a part of it. Thank you to NASA and to the Challenger Learning Center of Kentucky for making this possible. Now, let's get to the important part and learn more about these amazing astronauts in space. Have fun.
Hi, my name is Natalie, and my question is, what was the most unexpected thing about space or space travel?
Hi, Natalie. And hello to everyone out there in Kentucky at the Challenger Centers. I just want to say I'm so excited to be speaking with you all. I know it's been a challenging past few weeks for you all there, and just hope that today can be a little bit of an escape and we can have a little bit of fun together. So Natalie, to answer your question, I think the most surprising thing about space travel has been how quickly our bodies adapt to this new environment. We first get here, and of course it is totally foreign to us. We don't know where to put our hands or our feet or how to get around, and in just a few short days it seems that our brains are able to figure it out. We can understand that everything is happening in 3D and how to use the whole volume and learn how to translate around, as well as our bodies start to adapt as well and start to really be able to function efficiently and effectively in the microgravity environment. So that has been a pretty neat process to watch.
Hi, my name is Xavier, and I was wondering, how does welding in outer space work on the International Space Station?
That is a really interesting question, Xavier. It is definitely going to be really important moving forward as we start to explore further and further into the solar system, that we invest in new technologies in welding and things like additive manufacturing that will help us be able to build in space. So rather than having to rely on cargo resupply vehicles, which will be increasingly difficult as we get further away from the Earth and start to think about the Moon and Mars, having the ability to manufacture in situ, in process, is going to be really important as we start to want to be able to build things like at a lunar base, for example, in our Artemis program. So we are definitely testing out those technologies here on the ISS. We have a manufacturing device actually just right here next to me that's working out some of those ideas, looking at fiber optics as well, 3D printing. It is all super exciting and will be super important in the future.
Hi, my name is Maddie. My question is, what is one of the procedures for a medical emergency?
Yeah, great question. So we all kind of get basic training in medical emergencies, medical procedures. So we're all able to take care of each other on kind of a basic level. Luckily for us, one of my crewmates, Kjell Lindgren, who's actually just behind me, if you can spot him, but he is a medical doctor, and so we are super lucky to have him on board, just to know, hopefully we won't need to rely on his skills, but it's nice to know that he has them just in case. So I brought a couple things to show you here to give you an idea of what our medical procedures are like. So we have a procedure book here that tells us exactly what to do if we get into a situation where we need to use some of these medications. And these medications come in a kit like this. So it looks like something like this, and then you can open it up, and we've got everything that we might need for that type of situation available to us here. And so, of course, a lot of these we would be talking to our surgeons on the ground, our flight surgeons, who would tell us exactly what medications to administer. But we are hopefully not going to have to use any of our training or our equipment in terms of medical emergencies.
Hi, my name is Natalie, and my question is, what happens when an experiment fails?
That's a great question. We do lots and lots of scientific experiments up here, and really there's almost no way that an experiment can fail, because even if an experiment doesn't produce the results that we expect, we still learn something from that. And that is just the part about science that I personally enjoy the most, is that we actually end up learning the most when things don't go quite as planned, or things don't turn out exactly the way we expected, because then that means that we are are learning something new that we hadn't considered before. And that happens a lot here in Space Station because we are really pushing the bounds of our understanding and especially our understanding of things in the microgravity environment. So as we look at biology and chemistry, Earth and space science, we are learning new things every day. And sometimes that means that our experiments don't go exactly as planned. But we are always pushing, always learning, and it's exciting to be always a student up here.
Hi, my name is Savannah. My question is, with space tourism on the rise, what would you recommend for someone traveling to space?
Good question. So if you are planning to travel to space in the near future, I recommend several things. One is to make sure that you pack lots of photos of your friends and family. Myself and all of my crewmates have plenty of those, and it helps us keep connected to the ground. I would say also make sure that you have some of your favorite foods coming up with you or coming before you. In our case, we have lots of delicious treats up here to keep us happy. We have mac and cheese. We even have burger patties that we can make, put them in a tortilla, and they're delicious. And lastly, I would say if you were planning to travel to space, I would say stay a while. We get to be up here for 6 months on our Expedition 67 mission, and it is just in that time that we can really fully adapt to the environment, fully kind of be a part of it, and learn to use it to the best of our abilities. And that's really when we can be the most efficient, get the most work done, and also get to observe the Earth for the longest period of time, which is a nice little benefit.
Hi, my name is Joseph, and I was wondering what would happen if you ended up letting go of a helium balloon while on the International Space Station.
That's an interesting question, Joseph. So actually, it would probably be somewhat anticlimactic if you filled up a balloon with helium on the ISS, because what would happen is the same thing that would happen as if you blew up a balloon with your own breath, with air. Of course, on the ground, if you fill it up with helium, helium is lighter than air, so the balloon rises. But here, that difference doesn't matter because we're in microgravity, and so the two balloons would move away from you kind of at the same velocity, and they wouldn't necessarily go up. There is not really an up here on Space Station, and so they would kind of disperse in whichever direction that you release them to, and they would just keep going until you stop them.
Hi, I'm Isaac. Do you ever hear or see space debris while on the International Space Station?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And so we definitely are aware of space debris while we're up here on the International Space Station. It's important for our safety to be aware of what's going on outside of the station. And so luckily for us, we have a super expert team of people on the ground who are looking out for us. So we have a kind of perimeter around the station, if you will, where this ground team is constantly monitoring to make sure that any objects that we are aware of out in space are not going to make contact with the space station, that their pathways are not going to collide with our pathways. And if that is the case, if we see that some small piece of debris might intersect with our trajectory, then we can just move the station out of the way. So we can fire our thrusters and either go above or below any piece of debris that might be have some potential for coming in contact with us. So that helps us keep us safe and definitely gives us peace of mind being up here.
Hi, my name is Kendall, and my question is, what was your favorite part of the training that you had to go through to get into space?
That's a hard question, Kendall, because all of our training was super fun. I think one of the most rewarding parts of our training is our spacewalk training. So we train for what we call EVAs, or extravehicular activities. So that's when we get to go outside and do spacewalks. And so how we train for that is we have a giant pool out in Houston, Texas. It's called the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory. And in this pool are large mock-ups of each of the outsides of the modules of the space station. And so we put on our spacesuits, our EMUs, and go down into the water. It is about 40 feet deep that we go down, and that is where we can learn and practice moving around outside the space station, doing the maintenance that's necessary outside. So that was a really awesome part of our training, but we also thoroughly enjoy all of it, getting to train on our SpaceX Dragon, which is the launch vehicle that got us here and will get us home. Training with that team in Hawthorne at SpaceX was super fun, as well as getting to train with our international partners, getting to do a bit of international travel to learn about the different modules like this one. I'm in the Columbus module, which is the European Space Agency module. So our training is very varied. There's a lot to do, a lot to get done, but it's super fun.
Hi, my name is Cash, and my question is, how would glue react in a microgravity environment?
Yeah, so believe it or not, we actually have quite a bit of glue up here, hidden in plain sight. So we have lots of materials, lots of equipment that is made with glue, or glue's involved in the process of manufacturing it, and then it gets sent up here. So that we rarely, I think, actually use glue to fix things, though we could, but we certainly. Glue is up here and kind of around us everywhere. So once it is adhered to a surface, the adhesion force of the glue is strong enough that it will not have an effect up here in microgravity. But certainly if we were to squeeze a glue bottle, like a little Elmer's glue bottle, we would have to be ready, because we would definitely see the droplets kind of go everywhere, and then it would stick to the walls and everything. So we would have to be on our toes.
Hi, my name is Sebastian. What has been your favorite experience while on the International Space Station?
Another tough question, because everything about being on the International Space Station is awesome. But for me, I am a geologist by training, and so for me, being able to look out the window and seeing the Earth, especially from this perspective, being able to see places where I've done field work, I've studied from on the ground, being able to see them from up here, from the vantage point of the ISS, is just absolutely awesome. The Earth is so beautiful, and the surprise for me was that the moon is also gorgeous, and sometimes even steals the show.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. My question is, what is the most challenging daily task on the International Space Station?
I think honestly, probably the most challenging tasks sometimes can just be your average everyday pieces of life. Of course, after being up here for a long period of time, we definitely get used to it. But when we first arrived, even just things like preparing and eating dinner can be a real challenge. Learning how to manage 7 different small bags of food that are all floating, and food is floating out of the bag, and how do you keep that all together around the table, things like that. Learning just even how to get around without crashing into everything and crashing into your friends. Learning those kind of basics all over again is definitely a challenge when we first arrived.
Hi, my name is Allison. My question is, what is the most difficult thing you had to overcome during training?
I think the most difficult part of training was not any one particular aspect necessarily, but just the combination of all of the different things that we had to learn and show proficiency in during training. So just kind of the whole totality of training and just the diversity of the different aspects of training. So on any given day, you could have 7 different activities that were learning how to use the robotic arm during 1 hour, and then the next hour you are flying a T-38 jet, which is what we use to get some especially work on our crew resource management is what we call it. And then the next minute we could be learning how to conduct a scientific experiment up here. So just kind of keeping all of those juggling all of those different aspects of training all at once was maybe the most difficult.
Hi, my name is Nathan. How does inertia feel?
Yeah, well, I should be asking you the same question because I guarantee that you have felt inertia as well. But it definitely is different up here on the ISS. It's certainly true that when you, as I was talking about with the balloons, as soon as you let go of something or even this microphone, it's going to continue moving until I input a different force on it. And so learning that about different objects is definitely a learning curve. I've definitely lost a few items up here. You look away for 1 second and it's gone. So definitely inertia it can be your friend if you can wield it properly, but it can also get the best of you if you're not careful.
Hi, my name is Will, and I'd like to know how you keep time on the International Space Station.
Yeah, so we actually are on Greenwich Mean Time, and so that is actually, I believe, 4 hours off of Kentucky time, and so that is the time zone that we essentially elected to use up here, and that is the time that the ground team uses to help keep us in line, keep us on schedule, and all in sync on our timelines.
Hello, my name is Kelsey, and my question is, what is the most challenging part of adapting to microgravity?
Yeah, so I think there are a few aspects to it. One, I've kind of touched on the idea of kind of remapping your brain to be able to use all surfaces around you, both the floor, the ceiling, and the walls as free game. That's definitely a process that happens while we're up here. The other part of adapting to microgravity is kind of happening a little bit more without us knowing. So we know, based on scientific studies and previous spaceflight, that while we are up here, our bones and muscle strength and health can deteriorate just as a result of being in this environment and being without gravity. And so while we're up here, we participate in what are called countermeasures. So effectively just exercising, getting good cardio activity, as well as weightlifting, getting some actual weight on our backs, and that is to help counteract this bone loss potential. And so if we were not engaging in that activity, that would definitely be something that is happening to our bodies as a result of being in microgravity. And so doing all of the exercise that we do is a means of adapting to this environment, so that when we get back, we are nice and strong, our bones are not brittle, and we are ready to hit the ground running.
Hello, this is State Senator Brandon Smith. I want to give a special thank you to the astronaut and crew that made today's event so successful, but it wouldn't have happened without the Challenger Learning Center of Kentucky. This is the true winning team for all of us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for your time today. It's great speaking with you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes our event.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
This is looking at the radar here. It doesn't. We should go ahead and get ready to go, and then we'll see what the weather.
lightning protection, right?
Yeah, technically.
GTC cutoff.
Yeah. It really gets great, like, the later in the evening we get.
Yeah.
But, you know, we wanted to pull her out for all the world to see.
There's a lot of people gathered.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
I could looking out the window and see,
I know.
you know, the team and get to bring the families and whatnot. So do you know how to
No,
get up
no,
there?
I've never been on the roof, and also, remember there's people looking at them while they're jacket or no?
Now, the VAV one is much more difficult without someone guiding with you. Yeah, but let's just do the weather tag for like about 30
At least it's a reference. You know, that's how you write something. So, it's very, it's not. Yeah.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yes, sir. Just finished up our detailed weather review with the LWO. There has been no lightning strikes within 20 nautical miles of LC-39 in the last 30 minutes, and at this time we have been given a favorable forecast for roll.
Yes, ma'am. At this time, GBCT is conducting the observer comm checks and the pre-test briefing. We have satisfied the OMRS for the weather, so we brought that off. And we'll be coming back to you shortly here for
GBCT, DTC, go ahead.
In work.
I proudly give you a go to propel our Artemis 1 launch vehicle to the pad.
Stand clear of the CT and ML for first motion.
She looks good.
I gave him a kickoff for
You could, I mean, there's going to be a ton of VFI that gets done away with.
Attention! NASA television programming on Galaxy 13 is moving from transponder 11 to transponder 15. The transmission modulation format is now DVB-S2 8PSK. This move is in line with the Federal Communications Commission's initiative to free up C-band bandwidth on domestic satellites in support of future 5G terrestrial communications efforts. Transponder 11 and 15 are both active during this transition. Distribution of NASA TV programming on Transponder 11 will end on August 29, 2022. For more information, go to nasa.gov/NASATV.
Hubble doesn't have any thrusters on board to be able to propel us in any way, shape, or form. What we can do is we can turn our attitude. And what we do is we have reaction wheels that are about 2 feet wide. We've got 4 of them. And if you spin a reaction wheel in one way, the telescope will rotate in the opposite way. We're moving all over the sky looking at different places. Typically, we will go to a target and stay there for probably 2 orbits, each orbit being about 95 to 97 minutes.
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Station is ready for the event.
Houston ACR, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call the station for a voice check.
Station, this is Houston ACR. How do you hear me?
I have you loud and clear. How me?
Aboard the International Space Station as they answer questions from our very own Darnaby students. For the past 21 years, crews of astronauts have been living and working aboard the space station, developing the skills necessary to explore further into space. We hope that this experience will inspire some of you to be the next generation of explorers. Go Rangers!
My name is Noah. I am in 5th grade. My question is, does gravity affect your height while in space and when back on Earth?
Hello. First of all, I'm so excited to be with you all today, answer a few of your questions. As for your question, it is true that being in space actually can affect our height. So while we are up here, our spines, on Earth, our spines are curved, but up here our spines start to straighten out a bit, and so that makes us grow a little bit taller. But then as soon as we get back to Earth, we compress back to normal, so we're back to our normal height.
My name is Evie and I am in 6th grade. My question is, can you describe what the force of takeoff feels like?
Yeah, sure thing. So launch was just absolutely amazing. This is my first space flight, my first time in space, and so it was my first launch. So I was really looking forward to it, and it definitely did not disappoint. On the launch pad, we are sitting there, we're waiting for a while to get the vehicle ready, and then we get down to the point where there's the 10-second countdown, and we get down to 1, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then there's this pause where you can kind of just feel the weight of the rocket and what's about to happen. And then after that, you're off to the races. You can feel the rocket underneath you, propelling you upwards, moving faster and faster. And you're kind of holding on to your seat, and then before you know it, the gravity that is coming into your chest all just gets released at once, and you are just floating. So you go from several amounts of gravity into your chest to just being totally free floating, and that juxtaposition is pretty awesome. It was quite a ride.
My name's Alana, and I'm in 3rd grade. My question is, how long does a fidget spinner spin in space without gravity?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Alana. So we actually have a fidget spinner up here, so we can do a little experiment and find out ourselves. So I think that the answer is going to be that it is going to continue as long as we don't touch it or let anything else touch it. So I'll let this go here for a while, and we'll see if the fidget spinner stops spinning before we're done. Yep, so it looks like it's still going.
Hi, my name is Kaveen, and I am in 5th grade. My question is, how do you know when to sleep in space?
Yeah, it's a really good question because ultimately we don't have the same cues that you all use on the ground, that we all use to know when it is time for bed. It is night and day here 16 times a day. So we orbit the Earth and get 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. So if we used that to determine when we were going to sleep, we'd be sleeping all the time. So instead, we have basically kind of picked a time zone. So we are in Greenwich Mean Time, and that is the time that we have our whole day scheduled around, and the time that all of the ground team who is working with us to help us out through our day, they are all working on that time period too. And so our day gets scheduled with all of our different scientific and maintenance activities, and then at the end of the day, we go to bed around 9 or 10 p.m. Greenwich time.
Hi, my name is Yusuf, and I am in 5th grade. My question is, how are the phases of the moon different on space than on Earth?
Yeah, the phases of the moon are just as awesome from space as they are from Earth. And one of the coolest things about being able to see the moon from here that I really think is really interesting and really fun is being able to see the moon as a sphere. So when you look up in the night sky from Earth, it kind of looks like a circle, right? That's kind of taped onto the sky, if you will. But from here, you can really see that it is a